So, as a lot of you will know, the new GXK Godzilla X Kong New Empire movie trailer recently came out fully, and my brain just went into brainstorm mode. I was doing planning, mind maps, what I actually wanted to do with video, how could I sort of do this, and the new theme for December, although I'm doing Creative Advent, which is the whole thing, check it out on the channel, I'm actually doing Delicious December, and you can probably see where this is going. Yes, I'm going to be turning the kaijus or the titans from the new movie trailer into foods. So you know how in the anime One Piece, how devil fruits have certain aspects or colour variations that sort of direct the user to their certain traits or powers? I'm going to try and apply that to these new foods and really give them sort of properties that could be used by these titans. So in terms of the ones we're going to be doing, obviously we've got the Scar King, which is this orangutan-like figure of the Kong species, possibly with electrical powers. And then we also have Godzilla in his new form, which he has evolved from the last fight in Godzilla v Kong. So next up is obviously the G-Man. Godzilla has got a whole new design. He's essentially evolved from the fight in Godzilla v Kong. And now he's got this pink sort of magenta purple hue, which I absolutely love. And I also really like the new design because obviously his body is also changed to adapt to this new power. And lastly, we have Kong in his new state as well. I believe he's called Old Kong now. He's slightly greyer. He looks more like a chief or an alpha. He's got much broader shoulder hair and he's got a beard. Obviously, there's axe with him as well still. And there is a Diddy Kong, which I believe is the offspring of the Scar King, but we're also doing a Scar King fruit, so I think maybe we could keep that under wraps. One other thing, there are these small dog things in there as well, so I possibly could do like Seed, because they are much smaller compared to the other Titans. As well as this sort of large crustacean monster, which we don't actually get to see fully in the trailer, just the foot of it. So it'd be interesting to see what that is when the movie comes out, which is why I'm actually going to leave that. There's also been sort of fan theories surrounding Shimu, Titanus Shimu, coming into the film as well, but I'm not entirely sure. It's not in the trailer, so we're just going to leave that one out as well. Anyway, we've got our three main titans or kaiju, and now we just need to find some foods which are going to mix them into, which are going to be completely randomized. Wahoo! First up, we have the main villain, Scar King, and oh, that could be very interesting. Next up is the G-Man, the Godzilla, the evolved version, and mixing into him we have okay, again, very interesting, could produce some very peculiar results. And finally, the big king, the Kong, the giant ape himself. And okay, that may be probably the most difficult one out of all of them, but yeah, we're gonna keep going forward. And funnily enough, I'm actually going to be using the same exact few steps that I've used for my last couple of digital painting videos. And I may even put it on screen this time while I talk you through what's going through my head. Alright, let's go. This is going to be so fun. So what we're going to kind of start off doing here is drawing abstract shapes, sort of defining features that I probably want to go in. This is more of like a planning stage, less of an actual sketch stage where I then layer on top of. This is like a bit of an experimental, really trying to grasp the idea of the fruits or food or the animal that I'm transferring onto such a food. Right, so next up, this is where I really want to sort of get down the defining shape and use the transform tool to actually put it in the proper place, to get actually like the finishing piece in mind for these things. And then all I'm actually doing here is taking colours from the reference pictures I'm using, because I like to be kind of accurate with the colour palette. And I'm taking sort of like a varying between dark, medium and light tones, just so I can put the medium on the fruit or food and then apply the darker and lighter tones later in the process. I'm also using slightly different brushes with varying opacity to give different types of detail and texture, but still at a very basic level where I'm basically just splatting colour on. So now we're moving on to the more interesting phase. This is kind of what truly defines the image we're creating here, with darker and lighter tones creating texture, gradients, highlights, shadows, which are a separate part as well, but this is more colour variation, and this is so important. It's also really important to pick a lighting angle. Now, moving on to the proper shadows and highlights, this is your blacks and whites, and depending on the shape and the texture of the thing you're going on to, you may want to use lower opacities, different brush sizes, different types of brush for shiny or rough or fuzzy or hairy surfaces, because giving it that sort of defining texture is really going to add to the picture. But now I think it's time for the reveal, because honestly, these look absolutely epic. Let's go. So overall, I'm really happy how these turned out. They look absolutely amazing. Some weird results, but well, that's to be expected. These are my socials here, you can check them out. And I'm also doing a bit of a challenge right now where I'm doing a Christmas creature a day as part of an Advent thing. And these are some of my latest. So feel free to check it out, and hopefully I'll see you really soon for the next delicious December. Goodbye.